thanks, Neal, for asking me to speak. I appreciate that. I do endorse Neal. I just want to make that clear. I've done that for his last several campaigns.
Thank God.
And I would encourage all of you here, if you haven't contributed, please do. Okay, I'm not a fundraiser, but I think it's important to that he needs money for the signs and the paperwork that has to go through and things like that. It's very important. So, wherever and whenever you can help him, please do that. And in trying to think of what to say tonight, but the thought is, why do I endorse Neal? And that's what I want to just kind of share a little bit about. I don't live near him. I don't even know where you live. I know your address. I just have no clue.
Actually 23.
Well, I don't need to know where it's at. But the idea is that I don't live near him. I don't, so he's not going to neighbor or something like that. And I've not worked with Neal now in terms of the city of Charlotte. As he mentioned, when he would find part of his job was what's called discovery, people who have to file personal property reports. Very few were my clients, but he did the job as he said, not trying to penalize the taxpayer, but only to report what they're supposed to report. He did that fairly, and with what he said, I echo that 100%. But again, that would be one of those jobs where I'm trying to lower taxes for my clients. Not that he's trying to get more from them, but he's trying to get something from them. So we had kind of not an adversarial, but I've worked well with the Charlotte, the Mecklenburg personal property folks. But anyway, I don't go to church with Neal. Okay? In fact, I think you go to First Baptist,
yes,
but I wasn't really sure about that actually. So I don't have a church connection with him. And I don't socialize with Neal. Not that I wouldn't, but again, we just don't have the same friends. We don't do things together. I'm quite certain that some time ago, he had some tax issues. He came and talked to me about it. And that's, I think, is when I met him. He had, I presume, had gotten my name locally here. But that was kind of neat to have that. And so in that process, and then as he started to run for political office, it's real clear when you meet Neal. He cares. He absolutely cares, and he's got a passion. He's very passionate about that. You can see when he's talking. And that's what I like about Neal, okay? And that's why I've supported him, okay? I have an office on Statesville Road right near exit 23. I don't let many political signs go up on my property, but Neal's is one that I always let go up on that piece of property. And it's got nice visibility along 21 there. But again, that's why I support Neal. That's why how I know Neal, and it's his heart, his passion, and his concern for Huntersville. Thank you.
Hey, maybe that's my epitaph. They were always going to be here, and I'm glad the videotape didn't go with that, because they were talking about getting involved, and he was starting to talk about me and the things I did, and I said, I don't want to hear that. You see, I was taught by my father, don't get yourself pat in the back and don't take credit, because it takes more than one person. So a lot of the times I've been told by my political advisors, hey, you need to start talking to your own home. I can't do that. I can't. What I do, charitable work, is separate from what I do here. That's what I know, okay? And I try to keep it separate. I'll always keep it separate, because it's two separate things. Now, you've all read the article, okay? Mecklenburg Commissioner, Huntersville, why? They said no. When I started that project, guess what? I knew the answer in the meeting. Right immediately, I knew the answer. But I want to see how far our leaders would listen and how far they studied this thing. Only two people knew the answer, and that was Brian Session, who was here, and Ken Lucas, and he's on an audit trip or something. Security. Okay. Those are the only two guys, and after I did my 3-minute speech, said, guess what? Unless Jennifer says yea or nay, it's dead. Okay? So I went with the idea of having Huntersville and the funds to, right? County commissioners would pay back. And do the legal process. It still came down to Jennifer Robbins saying yea or nay. She said no. The question I have is that basically our leaders just got punked, because why didn't they call Jennifer Robbins as soon as I did the first 3 minutes speech? All right? Saved everybody a bunch of time. This is one reason I say here, our leaders are dysfunctional because they don't know the law. They're not willing to just call up and talk to somebody and say, hey, we need this school bill. And let me tell you why we need this school bill. Yes, the article says that my grandfather and my grandkids were. They were. I had an autistic child. She fell. She cried. I was there. She's had panic attacks. It's a great school. 100%, 177%, okay, capacity. They do an excellent job. Every time I've talked about the school, they never put that in. They do an excellent job. That's why CMS is not going to do anything, because they do an excellent job. If you notice, every time you read something, they won't pin back Stumptown because they're going to begin to back down south like they do everything else. Now, why I'm involved now? I have a business, New Direction Consultants. I help people who are out of a job to get a job. Just like the movie Dave, every Monday, you have a job. But that's what I do. I have some incredible people, just like your Ross. Human relations, health insurance for businessmen. I got Jeff here. We're working on a program right now where we have a couple. They're in their mid-80s. They owe $11,000 on their home. They're afraid they're going to get kicked out because of mental depression. We're trying to get a package together that if an investor will buy the house, keep the people in there, they'll pay the interest, they'll maintain the house, they'll have some money to fall back on, and then when they pass on, then the investor takes over the property. It's been done in other areas. But people don't understand that 115 and 21, you're sitting on gold mines. That property's going to be worth $500,000 to $1 million one day. All right? And unfortunately, we have certain people in the town hall who don't like the way it looks, doesn't look pretty, harass them with certain issues. I was talking to Brian, we think at this point we need to take a hiatus and allow this stuff to let people advertise. Do you realize there's a statute that says that you can't have a moving billboard? Now, the one side of town, they get written up. The other side, you see them with the cows and the sombreros. Do they get picked on? Come on. If you can do it for one, you got to do it for the all. All right? Now, let's talk about the spark of 1775. How many here know about Helen, Georgia? Boy, big crowd. How many know about Williamsburg? Yeah. Oh, come on. All right. At least you know that. Helen, Georgia got started about 1960. The interstate bypass, basically they had nothing, no traffic. A couple of businessmen got together. What we're going to do? Well, we've got a nice stream. We've got some heritage and Swiss. All right, one guy said, I'll tell you what, I'll do my storefront Swiss and German. Okay, I'll do it too. I'll do it too. Now when you go there in Helen, Georgia, that's all you see. And it's a perfect, lovely tourist town to see. Okay. They had some background. Okay. Now we've heard about Williamsburg. They did that too. Oh, do. All right. Sorry. That's all right. No comments for the duty guy. No. And
Transferred.
look what they did. Newburgh, the same way. Triumph, the same way. We have it here. 1775, the spark began. Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence was signed here. Not May 20th, May 31st. It's okay. How the story happened? Well, a bunch of businessmen in this area, farmers, merchants, got ticked off because their taxes were going to England to fund their military empire. Sounds familiar today. Raleigh and Washington. Of course, you know, back then, had to hoist a few, talked a few, hoist a few, talked a few, hoist some more, got ticked off. Some guy said, let's do a declaration. All right? They did a declaration. They all woke up the next morning. The wives found out. You dumb idiot! You get treason! You know how women are. You know, we get fired up and they put sentences to us, and so